Turkey is a really beautiful country, and it's not so difficult to get residency to live here anymore. And so thousands of people are thinking of coming to live or retire here. But could you actually afford to live here in Turkey? Because it's not difficult to get residency here in Turkey anymore, and because the exchange rate for foreigners is very good at the moment, a lot of people are thinking to come and live here in Turkey or even retire here. But do they realise what it costs? We thought it would be a good idea in this video for us to share with you our monthly expenditure, to give you some idea of what the monthly costs are and how much it will cost you to live here. It's a bit difficult to work out because not everybody has the same lifestyle. So in this program, what we're going to do is we're going to give you what we think would be the minimum cost to live here. Please bear in mind that a lot of Turkish people are on the minimum wage here, which is £250 a month. That's 2,800 lira, about $350 a month. So for them, these prices are ridiculously high, and many Turkish people are really struggling to survive at the moment. And one of the main expenditures, of course, is the weekly shopping. So let's go and have a look in the supermarket. So we're quite conservative when it comes to shopping in the supermarkets. We don't buy much meat. And we buy quite a lot of fruit and vegetables. And the main reason for that is meat is quite expensive. Even the keema, which is mincemeat, is £5.50 a kilo. Sea bass was £8.50 a kilo, which is basically one large fish. And sea bream, £5.50 for the same. Chicken breast is a little bit more reasonable at £2.50 a kilo. And whole chicken, cheaper still. Sausages and anything like that is all pretty expensive when it comes to working it out per kilo. Milk is about 65p a litre. 30 eggs in a tray for £19.90. Obviously, to get a true weekly shopping amount, you would have to average it out over a couple of months. We consider butter and cheese to be quite expensive. If you want the foreign Lurpak butter, which is the only one that's salted, it'll cost you nearly £5 for a small tub. And yet margarine, on the other hand, is quite cheap. So normal daily bread is really reasonably priced. That's 1.5 lira, about 12-13 pence. Something else that we find a little bit expensive, this is tuna. There's two reasonably sized tins there, and that's 31 lira. It's discounted if you've got the money card, which is the Migros money card. A 1 kilo bag of frozen cut chips, and that's £9.90. I mean, that's 25p. And this is another thing, if you buy rice in big bags, it's very cheap. Rice, bulgur, lentils of course, yogurt, that's £1.50. Of course, things that are grown here are much cheaper, but they are seasonal. These are bananas from outside, and these are bananas grown in Turkey. Things like whiskey, this is Bell's whiskey, 209 lira for a litre. Compared to other countries, that's quite high, and it's because there's a lot of tax put on things like that here. And good quality wines are about the same price as the UK.
this week's shopping came to about £45, but over the months it usually averages out at £140.
We love to go to the Turkish market, and we do spend about £10 a week. So that's another £40 a month.
Vay şunlara bak ya. Bezelye. Her şey var burada, her şey. Tam manav ya, manav. Kocaman manav.
A lot of people will probably come here and buy a property. But bear in mind, once you've bought a property, there's ground tax every year, which is not a great deal, but there is also something called an IDAT. IDAT is a monthly payment, which if you're on a complex is a maintenance cost for looking after your gardens and your swimming pool. And obviously if there's a swimming pool, the IDAT monthly charge will be much higher. So our IDAT, or maintenance costs, are about £15 a month. But if you've got a swimming pool, it could be as much as £40 a month. If you own a property here, you will have to pay some insurances, and one of the insurances is compulsory, and that's called DASK, or earthquake insurance. And with the normal contents insurance, we find that it costs us around about £20 a month. If you're thinking of renting a property here, obviously in a resort area, it will be a premium. And you won't find a rental for less than about £120 a month. And that will be a very small studio apartment, probably in a back street. If you're thinking of renting a property with a swimming pool, something like a 3-bedroom villa, you'll be looking at something in the region of £500 to £1,000 a month. Electricity costs us about £40 a month. But that's averaging it out over the year, because in the winter time we use electric heaters, and in the summertime we use air conditioning units. So averaged out over the whole year, it's about £40 a month. Water is only about £10 a month, and gas, we buy 2 gas bottles a year, which are £20 each. Most people have gas propane bottles in their houses. They don't have piped gas, unless you're in one of the cities, of course. A lot of the resorts have got cycle tracks now, so lots of people who come here to live, they have a bicycle and they cycle everywhere. Intercity and local buses are reasonably priced, and taxis are not so expensive either. I've got a motorbike myself, which is quite reasonable to run, and they're very popular here, of course. Of course, if you want to buy a car, that's a different thing. Fuel prices might be reasonable for half the price of the UK, but buying a car and running one certainly isn't. We don't actually own a car. We often hire a car because it works out more reasonable for us. And this company, Pegasus, which are in Fethiye, they have an office at Dalaman Airport. So if we're going to fly out of Dalaman Airport, we can drop the car off at their office and then pick it back up on our return. The price of car hire varies, of course, depending on the time of the year, but you can usually get a car between £10 and £20 a day. And obviously, if you have it for a longer term, you can get a more reasonable price. Turkey is a huge country, and if you're thinking of touring around Turkey to visit some of the fantastic scenery and sights here, it actually works out quite reasonable to fly to your destination and hire a car than trying to drive all the way to it. Cars don't depreciate here like they do in other countries, so if you buy a car that's £2,000, it may be 15 to 20 years old, but in 2 years' time it will still be worth £2,000. You won't find a car for less than £1,500 unless it's got no windows and doors. It's one of the only places I know in the world where you can buy a car as an investment. If you want to buy a new car, they're pretty similar price to anywhere else in the world. Car insurance and tax are also similar to other countries. Motorbikes are a practical solution for around town, and electric bikes are becoming more and more popular too. So I've put down £100 a month for vehicle hire or running a car. Another thing you'll have to put into your calculations is your mobile phone. Now, whether you get a contract or not, it's not that expensive, and you will definitely need a Turkish SIM card. Now, I've got a contract with Vodafone in the UK, which is great because it means I can still get the BBC and stuff like that. But you will need a Turkish SIM card here, because for registration on different documentation, and also to register with the National Health Service here to get on what they call the e-Nabis or e-Devlet, you'll need a Turkish SIM card so that they can send you notifications. The cheapest SIM only is about £4 a month, which includes a few gigabytes of data as well. But you can, of course, once you've got residency, you can, of course, then get a monthly rental contract. Home Wi-Fi is another thing to consider, and we pay about £20 a month for our Wi-Fi, which is with Sky FibreNet.
So what about healthcare?
If you've got residency, you are covered for the Turkish National Health Service, so you can use the Devlet Hastanesi, which is the government hospitals. But we have found over the years that it's actually not that expensive to go to a private hospital like this one, and to get something like an MRI scan, which in the UK would take you months having to go through specialists and doctors. Here you can go the same day for £75 and get your MRI scan. And they'll often give you a discount because you're a resident and you've got the insurance policy that comes with it. You can get a private healthcare insurance policy if you want, but of course the premium for that will depend on your own health. And dental treatment is reasonably priced too. Many people come over from the UK and America just for their dental treatment here, and what they save pays for their flight and accommodation. So all these things need to be calculated into your final figure. So totaling everything up, our monthly expenditure comes to about £600 a month, which seems very reasonable, but don't forget that doesn't include any social life, and that is why a lot of people come to live here. So if you're thinking of going out to a restaurant, let's say twice a week, you can add on £50 a week, which is £200 a month onto that sum. And of course it depends on how much you drink. If you drink a lot of alcohol, then that will also put up your expenditure considerably. So we estimate totally that you're going to need around £800 to £1,000 a month to live here comfortably. And just bear in mind that we've calculated that this is the minimum that you would require to live here in Turkey, which is around 8,500 Turkish lira to 10,500 Turkish lira. And yet many Turkish people only earn around 3,000 Turkish lira. How they manage to live on that sort of wage, I really don't know. So I hope some of that information is going to be useful to you.
Don't forget to like,
subscribe,
and hit that notification bell so you don't miss where we go next.
Thanks for watching.